Pink. American singer-songwriter, pop artist, singer of the song Walk Me Home. Home is a place where I live and sleep. I like sleep. I also like dogs. Pink's also a colour, like a light shade of red. Flamingos are pink. They live in Africa with lions. Lions are felines. Felines are cats. And, well, cats are evil. Blue. Dabba-dee dabba-die, dabba-dee dabba-die. The sky is blue, except at night. Night is the absence of the sun, where there are stars. Stars are balls of gas millions of kilometers away. Blue is a color. Pink is a color. Flamingos. So pink is for boys and blue is for girls. At least that's the way it used to be, before the gender and color stereotype changed in the 1920s. Joe Paoletti, an American studies educator, documents this as pink used to be considered as a watered-down red, which is a bold and fierce color, thus considering it more of a boy's color. Blue, on the other hand, was considered a dainty and calm color, best suited to girls. But if color is supposedly an objective thing, how did the change from seeing pink as a masculine color to pink as a feminine color happen? Humans certainly didn't change their views that quickly surrounding men and women. Believe it or not, a relationship between color and gender stereotypes has existed from the early 1900s and still dominates our media today. But where did these color stereotypes originally come from? Yes, probably our parents, but where did they get it from? By the 1960s, marketing teams of children's apparel and toys were largely responsible for the trend of gender-specific colors. The more specialized a product was, the higher the company could charge for the product and still get away with it. Thus, separate colors and toys for boys and girls were aggressively marketed to parents. The 80s saw the introduction of prenatal testing, which sent the market into overdrive. Companies quickly realized that parents would buy whole sets of clothing and would decorate the nursery with the appropriate color, knowing the gender of their coming baby. A study was conducted in 2011 at the University of Aberdeen, where the children's clothing in UK clothing catalogue was reviewed. The results showed that out of the total 258 items, 203 were unicoloured, including the colour white. 53% of the items were found to be gender-specific, with 55 pink and 53 blue items. The remaining items were split among the other 9 colours. But this still shows that there was a significant bias towards pink and blue colours, meaning that clothing companies are still pushing this gendered stereotype. But it's not only clothes that continue to push this. The same study also looked into the prevalence of pink and blue colours in children's toys. This study used a similar method, looking at 321 unicoloured items of a toy catalogue from a local store in the UK, where 138 items were listed in the boys section and 183 in the girls section. It was found that boys were offered 23% more blue toys than any other colour, and girls were offered 54% more pink toys than any other colour. The study also states that a whopping 97% of the toys listed in the girls section were pink. These results confirm that children's toys and clothes are dominated by gender-stereotyped colours from a very young age. But how does this affect children when they're older? In another study, it was noted that up to the age of 2, children showed no preference for the colour of toys or other objects. However, as children grew past the age of 2, girls chose more pink colours than boys, and by the age of 3, they had a significant preference for pink objects over any other colour. Who is to say, though, that this isn't a natural thing according to the child's gender and a naturally occurring colour preference? Well, there is research that shows that regardless of gender, children prefer the colour blue compared to other colours, and that there is no evidence that proves girls have a special preference to the colour pink. Not that I remember anything before I was 2 years old, but I certainly remember enjoying playing with toy trucks, Lego, and generally avoiding my sister's Barbie set. I don't remember these toys being specifically blue, but I certainly remember actively avoiding the pink ones. Now, whether or not this had any influence on my personality growth or not, it's important to note that at one stage of my early adult life, I actually wanted to become a diesel mechanic. What if what I wanted to do when I grew up was directly influenced by the toy I was given, or the interests of my parents, who were both musically gifted, shaped my interests that are today? I should also mention that my favorite color is blue. Given the amount of research behind young boy items being blue, it doesn't seem very coincidental that I would grow a fondness of this color out of the 12 basic colors or millions of other shades. There must be a correlation between what I wore and played with as a kid and what my favorite color is now. Well, actually, Boris and Rayev state that there is a correlation. In their study in 2015, they state that a person's childhood experiences can significantly affect their personality in adulthood. So back to my first question of why pink is now for girls and blue is for boys. This change suggests that people's view of color is subjective, as the dominant view completely inverted in the 20s. Color is created when an object absorbs and reflects light in a certain way. This reflection will be exactly the same no matter who is looking at it. So this color preference change must merely be a construct of the baby clothing manufacturers in the 1920s through the 60s. And somehow, everyone socially constructed a new trend in baby fashion while simultaneously becoming the construct themselves, believing their own stories that color is in fact subjective. So I leave you with this. Gender stereotypes are present in media not only for young people, but children, particularly in advertising. Michael Foucault says the individual is the product of power, where in this case, the child's item manufacturer and marketers hold the power, while parents are unknowingly shaping their child's future.